And yes, it is North Myrtle Beach Chiefs basketball, boys basketball tonight here on the North Myrtle Beach Chiefs Sports Network as the boys get set to take on the Carolina Forest Panthers in the season opener of the 2021-2022 season. My name is Brandon Biskuping. I'll be bringing you all the action for you all this season. Great to be back after taking off the second half of last season due to COVID concerns. But I am back full-time, and while unfortunately tonight we will not have either, later on this season, once we get the technical issues fixed, unfortunately some technical issues tonight, but hopefully for Georgetown on Wednesday, for home games, we will not only have the audio broadcast, but we will also have a video stream for you as well. If you want to do the video stream, look up North Myrtle Beach basketball on YouTube. But don't forget, sync it up to us, sync it up to the broadcast, and listen to my call while you're watching the game as well. But tonight, audio only on this front. And also, while I will not have a North Myrtle Beach color commentator tonight, still working on that. I will in just a little bit after he gets dressed from playing in the JV game. For those of you who are on the Carolina Forest front, who are used to hearing me on the football side, you're also used to hearing one Preston Payne, who is also on the JV basketball team for Carolina Forest. I will have him coming on as my color guy for tonight, so that'll be a fun experience. Do a little mashup broadcast for you guys tonight as the Chiefs get ready to take on Carolina Forest. Chiefs, this is their first game this season. Went 8-6 last season, lost in the first round of the SCHSL playoffs to Hilton Head. But this is a very different Chiefs team than last year or the year before that. Lost a lot from last year. The two big names, the two catalysts of this offense, the two catalysts and the two leaders of this team from the last couple of years, Kaimani Knox and Javi Marlowe, not here anymore. Neither is Cam Henley, Tyree Smith, or Rogan Vincent. That's a lot of scoring and a lot of productivity that the Chiefs have to figure out a way of fixing and figuring out a way of filling those voids, because not only are you losing scoring on the offensive side, you're also losing a strong presence on the defensive front in Kaimani Knox, as well as Tyree Smith. You're losing your big three-point threat in Rogan Vincent. So a lot of things to figure out for this essentially brand new Chiefs team, because out of the starters last year, Kaimani was a starter, Javi Marlowe was a starter, Cam Henley started most of the time, Rogan Vincent started often as well. So you're losing essentially your entire starting lineup from last season. So it will be very interesting to see how this team handles that. As for Carolina Forest, they come into this game 1-1 after playing in a preseason tournament. Went 16-5 last season, made it to the second round of the SCHSL playoffs before losing to River Bluff. And the series history, it seems like Carolina Forest was really the only team that I saw last year, especially on the boys' side, as the Chiefs played Carolina Forest twice early on in the season before the quarantine and then my subsequent departure for the season. Currently, the overall series record, Chiefs leading it 17-16 in the Max Preps era. North Myrtle Beach won the last matchup in the last game for both of these teams of the Beach Ball Classic last season, 55-50. Panthers beat the Chiefs in the first game of the season for North Myrtle Beach last year as well. That was an overtime thriller, 83-76. The Panthers won that game, and the Panthers sure would love to do that once again tonight starting off or hurting the opening to the Chiefs season. But the Chiefs are going to look to avoid that and get a win tonight. And this is not the last time these two teams will be facing off against each other. The Chiefs and Panthers are going to get very friendly with each other over the next couple of weeks, because not only do they play tonight here at North Myrtle Beach High School, but they also play next Tuesday at Carolina Forest. So that will be a good one as well. So be sure to be on the lookout for that next week. There are a few other games tonight around the region. West Florence is playing at Lake City. Darlington is at Lamar. We'll have updates for you on all of those games later on. Looking down the roster, just looking at this new North Myrtle Beach Chiefs team and what to expect this season. You still have some familiar names. You still have Elijah Vereen on this team. You still have that's the only one that is really that's the thing. If you look at this team, and now obviously high school basketball, you see a lot of turnaround, but from just 2 years ago, the only player left on the team from 2 years ago is Elijah Vereen. So a lot of turnaround. You do have some familiar names from last year: Chris Webb, Branson Reed, Cam Locklear, and Landon Cloninger. As I finally do have my my old partner, now new partner, coming off of his basketball game. Preston, how's it going? Long time no see.
It's going good. Long time no see. Could be a lot better.
Yeah, you guys got destroyed. Not destroyed, but
wait, the first quarter. I don't think you were here. Were you here?
Yes,
for the first,
I was here for the whole game.
For the first quarter, we did not show up.
Oh no,
second,
not at
if
all.
we play how we did in the second half, we are a much better team. But I think that's how it is with all first games. Sometimes, and with a 16-game schedule, we have 15 more games to play, and it'll be all right. And now let's get into this game.
Let's focus on the varsity side now. Looking at the Panthers. Looking at the Panthers for you, there's a few names on. Well, there's one name in particular that is missing that should play a big factor, and that is not having Corbin Pack on the court.
Right, and that's one of the key pieces that we missed that we had last season that lost. That we went to. He went to Flight 22.
He was originally committed to UMKC.
Right, and he's not really transferred, but he dropped his commitment from UMKC, and he ended up going to almost an AU team, but for over 18.
Yeah.
So that is a big piece losing. I think our leading scorer last year, if I'm not mistaken, and it's one of those things where when you lose that big of a piece, you have to reload. And I think from what I've seen from the varsity so far in their Forest tournament that they held over Thanksgiving break, I think that's what I've seen from them.
Yeah, let's hear how that tournament went and what kind of were the big takeaways from that tournament in the beginning of the season.
So for the first game against Aner, we came out lights on fire. Like everything was clicking. Seth DeBrule, he is a transfer from Christian Academy. He shot the ball well. He's our main three-point shooter. Jonah Naismith, obviously, one of our bigger pieces. Micah Nelson, 19.5 points per game in the 2 games that they played, averaging. And he is kind of the X factor for this game, I think. Pushing ahead a little bit, I think he's one of the X factors for this game because of how much energy and just the impact he has on the game night in and night out. And if I'm not, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go
but
for it.
In the second game, finishing Trinity Collegiate is one of the best programs around. They had a number of T1 prospects, and it's one of those things where you keep it close in the first half, but you can only keep it so close for so long.
Well, I think, and this is something that, is an overall thing, and this is everywhere, but even more so here in South Carolina, it seems. And I think it's because just one player can make or break a team in basketball, whereas you need so many different pieces in football. the private schools are a lot better in basketball than the public schools in basketball, whereas in football, it's more so the public schools being the top dogs.
Right, and I think that has something to do with, like you mentioned, how many pieces you need to have on a football team to make it work. In basketball, you can just say, hey, you go out and your best player, you go out and you just take the ball and go however you want. And that's the contrast between that and football.
Well, you mentioned best players. Best player for the Panthers this year, and he's getting some high regards because he was named one of the South Carolina Basketball Coaches Association top 5A seniors this season. Jonah Nesmith, what makes him so good?
So and he's standing right in front of us, but it's like, and you look at his height. Yeah. He's 6'6". But he's lanky. And it's one of those things where it's almost, I'm not going to compare him to Kevin Durant, but that's what his build is. His build is Kevin Durant-esque, and he's skinny, but he gets to the rack. And let me tell you, his vertical is something to believe, it's astonishing, because he'll make a 360 dunk look like it's nothing. And that's kind of his key factor is his athleticism. He might not be the biggest on the court, but he will use his athleticism to get there.
That kind of reminds me a little bit, not so much the athleticism, but the lankiness. Not quite as tall, but similar to Cesar Edwards of Hartsville a couple of years ago, who ended up going to Xavier. Is at Xavier now. He was this big, lanky, and just kind of sat in front of the rim and just dared you to come near him.
Right.
And so, it's going to be an interesting game. How much do you think last year plays into this? Not just the first game where they lost, where Panthers won in overtime, but then the Chiefs getting them back in the Beach Ball Classic.
I think that this varsity team is, and I'm referring to it as varsity because I'm on. Of course. It's going to take a minute for me to actually get that out of my system. But I think this Carolina Forest Panthers team is a lot more prepared. I don't know how North Myrtle Beach, how prepared they are, but
they're prepared.
I am sure. But with how good this Panthers team is and how disciplined Coach DeWalt is, they should be firing on all cylinders. I'll put it to you that way.
And as for the Chiefs, the big question is going to be, how do they replace the likes of Kaimani Knox and Javi Marlowe and Cam Henley? Those three guys especially, and Tyree Smith as well. But those three especially are going to be big pieces to have to fill out. And we'll step aside for the national anthem and the starting lineup right here on the North Myrtle Beach Chiefs Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it's my privilege to introduce to you the North Myrtle Beach High School NJROTC color guard in the direction of IT1 Leonard. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask for a moment of silence as we remember, reflect, and pay tribute to all of our men and women in the armed forces, those who serve throughout the world, our federal, state, and local law enforcement, those who sacrifice their lives every day for our freedom. At this time, our national anthem. ROTC.
When he comes out of the game, tell him, you told him. You don't believe us. Hey, listen to them.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to North Orleans High School, home of the North Orleans High School Chiefs. Tonight, the North Orleans High School Chiefs taking on the Panthers of Carolina Forest High School. First, for the visiting Panthers of Carolina Forest High School. Number 2, Jonah Nesmith. Number 5, Robbie Anderson. Number 10, Seth DeBrule. Number 11, Micah Nelson. And number 22, Wesley Fletcher. Head coach Emmanuel O. DeWalt. Assistant Stan Patterson. Assistant Devion Pat Brown. Jameson Burtill. Athletic Director, Principal Mrs. Kay Triggers. And now, let's get ready for your North Myrtle Beach High School Chiefs. At the weight position, a senior, number 5, Cameron Locklear. The weighing position, a senior, number 11, KJ Stanley. At the guard position, a freshman, number 13, Landon Clemenger. At the ball position, a freshman, number 20, Jamie Brooks. At the ball position, a junior, number 23, Zach McHugh. Head coach of North Orleans High School Chief Coach Ryan Walker, Assistant Grayson Smith, Assistant Ross Dyson, Assistant Christopher Keys, Athletic Director Coach Anthony Holbrook, Principal Mrs. Teresa Todd.
And there are the starting lineups as we get set to start this 2021-2022 North Myrtle Beach Chiefs season. Before tip-off, any final thoughts?
I'm ready to get this started. I haven't called a basketball game before.
Yeah, this is your first time. Here we go. We'll get you the starting lineups in just a second, like you heard, as we have tip-off and we are underway, going right to left on your dial is Seth DeBrole from Carolina Forest. He lays it up and in, and it's quickly 2-0 Panthers as stepping over the timeline is Landon Clemenger, and it's a backcourt violation. Panthers get the ball right back.
And that's a quick start of this game.
Robbie Anderson bringing it right to left, passes it to DeBrole. Bro inside now, kicks it out. Fletcher passes it out, now back inside to Jonah Nesmith. Nesmith gets it into to Fletcher, and he's not able to put the layup up and in, but a foul is called as Fletcher got his own offensive rebound, tried to put it back up and in. Cam Locklear with the foul, and Wesley Fletcher goes to the line to shoot two. A familiar name for us.
Very familiar.
Wesley Fletcher, a free safety on the football team, as the first free throw is up and good.
And when I said all those times that he just boxed out the wide receiver for the interception,
that's exactly what
about.
you're talking about.
Got in the inside position and just went up and got the rebound.
And getting it off of his own lay-in attempt is even more impressive, as the second one rolls off the front iron and back and out. So one for two goes Fletcher. As now backing down his man is Cam Locklear. Locklear brings it to the near side wing, trying to kick it out. It gets tipped, but Locklear is able to get it back on the near side corner. Tries to get it out, but it's stolen. Driving down the court, trying to get inside and back to a slamma-jamma by Jonah Nesmith. You said it. Jonah Nesmith putting up the hops with the dunk, and it's 5-0 Panthers. Trying to get over the timeline, some full court press, and a traveling violation is called on Locklear, and we're going the other way again.
And what a hot start for this Carolina Forest Panthers offense, and defense for that matter. 2 turnovers and 5 points on the other end. What a start. And as you said, Jonah Naismith with a dunk, and that's how you like to see this Carolina Forest offense start out.
Anderson brings the ball up over the timeline, gets it to the near side wing. On his man is DeBro. DeBro passes it to Fletcher. Fletcher spin move, lane attempt just off the mark. Rebounded by Henley. Driving now, trying to go coast to coast. Layup is up and good for TJ Stanley, and the Chiefs are on the board. 5-2 with 6:40 left to go in the first quarter. Nesmith with the ball, now passes it out, now stutter steps, looking, kick out. Anderson now kicks it out, actually drives, now kick out, 3-ball, rims out by DeBro. It's rebounded by Cloninger. Cloninger, long outlet pass, now kicks it back out, puts up an awkward shot, but TJ Stanley's able to put it up and in off glass, and it's 5-4. Anderson passes it out to Nelson. Nelson back out to Anderson. Anderson getting some pressure, stutter steps, picks up his dribble, loses the ball, and it's on the floor, and the Chiefs have it. The Chiefs are able to come up with it, driving. That ball gets tipped, though, and is taken by Fletcher. Panthers now with the ball. Long outlet pass, 3-ball from the near side wing, a little too strong by Micah Nelson, and it will go out of bounds, and the Chiefs will get the ball with 5:36 left to go.
And what a crazy start for this game. Panthers going a 5-0 run. North Myrtle Beach comes back right back with a 4-0 run.
Right back with a 4-0 run of their own. This looks like it's going to be that one of those games, a game of runs. A little slight full court press by the Panthers. Chiefs trying to get it over the timeline, running out of time, and surprising that there wasn't a 10-second call on that one. They do get it over the timeline, but it's now stripped, and a foul will be called on the Chiefs. That foul will be called on Cloninger. Oh, excuse me, 23, TJ Stanley, or Zach McHugo. Nelson, actually Robbie Anderson will bring the ball up over the timeline, passes it to the far side wing. Stutter step by Fletcher, thought about driving, and now loses the ball, scrambled for the ball, and they will say it went off of a Chiefs player, so it will remain Panther ball.
The Chiefs player, he tried to save it and then just ended up kind of falling on the ball and couldn't get it out from underneath him. That was a really good hustle play by that player right there.
Trying to get it inside. Now decides to kick it out instead. Nesmith's dribble drive, stutter step, now brings it back out. Passes it over to the far side wing. Gang a pick. Robbie Anderson drives, lay-in attempt, no good. And actually, that was a pass to Wesley Fletcher. He drove it down the baseline and drew the foul, and he'll go to the line once again to shoot 2.
And that's one of those things that I wanted to mention before the game. I just didn't have an opportunity. The size of Carolina Forest is kind of a mismatch in this game.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily a huge mismatch just based on like weight and strength or whatever, but it's a mismatch that they could exploit.
As the first free throw rolls off the front of the iron and out. And it's still a 5-4 game with 4:51 left to go in the first quarter. And, I mean, that's something, especially in basketball, that you have to take into consideration. Size differential matters.
Right.
Second free throw by Nesmith is good. Or excuse me, by Wesley Fletcher is good. And it's now a 6-4 ball game. Slight full court press. Chiefs are able to get it over the timeline. Hands it off. Stanley at the point, and it will get tipped. And it will remain Chiefs ball. Stanley to trigger the inbound. Branson Reed brings it over the timeline. Now gets a pick. Tries to get it to Stanley, but it'll be tipped out of bounds. Chiefs will retain possession. 4:30 left to go in the first quarter. Long pass all the way into the backcourt. Reed brings it over the timeline. He'll drive, tries to get it inside, but it will go out of bounds a little too far, trying to get it to Nakalia Brown.
And on the deflection before, Micah Nelson, one of those energy guys that I was talking about before in the game.
Anderson with the ball, passes it to DeBro. DeBro hands it off, and it's stolen. Long outlet pass, lay-in, good. KJ Stanley with the lay-in, and the Chiefs tie it up. 6-all with four and change left to go in the first quarter. And they called a foul as well on Wesley Fletcher. So Stanley will go to the line to try to give the Chiefs their first lead of the game. The free throw is good. Nothing but nylon. NBN. And it's 7-6. Chiefs in the lead for the first time tonight. Robbie Anderson brings the ball up over the timeline. Passes it to DeBro. DeBro gets it inside. Fletcher tries to kick it out. He does. Three ball a little too strong, but an offensive rebound by Nesmith. Nesmith stutter steps on the near side wing. Tries to cross over and almost gets it stripped. Is able to kick it out. Thought about the three ball, but it's stripped by Brooks. And that ball will get tipped out of bounds. Chiefs will retain possession. Fletcher trying to go for the steal, but just couldn't quite hang on to it.
It was Panthers ball.
Oh no!
Ball.
Okay, excuse me.
It was deflected by a Chief, and it went out of bounds.
Zach McHugo checks back into the game. He'll check in for TJ Stanley. Anderson triggers the inbound. Long pass out. Micah Nelson with the ball. He'll take a long three, almost from NCAA level, but just a little too short. And it's rebounded by the Chiefs. Trying to get it over to the far side wing. Scramble for the ball, and the Panthers come up with it. They'll get it inside. Lane attempt is no good. But Nelson will draw the foul, and he will go to the line to shoot two.
And the Northmore Beach coach wanted to travel there, but he did not get the call.
And
he's fuming.
Ryan Walker is not very happy. I mean, if you know the Chiefs, you know that he goes pretty hard at the refs pretty often. And that first free throw is a little too strong.
So I don't want to say this too loud because he's standing right in front of us. But has he ever gotten a tech that you know of?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
The second one is a little too short off the rim and rolls out, and it remains a 7-6 game. Chiefs remain in the lead, trying to drive coast to coast, laying just a little too strong by TJ Stanley, and it's no good, rebounded by the Panthers. Driving all the way, coast to coast, no good by Nesmith, but he will draw the foul and go to the line to shoot two.
And that's another part of those keys to the game that I said, or the X factors for in Jonah's game. The athleticism, the crossover, and just able to get one step in and just take it all the way.
He's been trying to get that crossover to work. He's been trying to break some ankles tonight, as that first free throw is too strong off the glass and off the back of the rim. And it remains the 7-6 ball game. Zach McHugo, that was his second already, his second foul. Second free throw is good, and that'll tie the game back up at 7.
Panthers call a timeout, and 7-7 through a quarter, and if you know, and I don't know how many people, I obviously go to Carolina Forest.
Yeah.
I know how this offense plays. If you know anything about Carolina Forest basketball, they are a fast-paced team.
Well, so are the Chiefs.
And that's what you told me during football season when we even mentioned doing this as a thing. And for this game to only be at 7-7 closing in on the end of the first quarter, is that not scary, or is that surprising? Is that a little surprising to you?
It's a little surprising, but I don't think it's so much because it's been back and forth.
Right.
It's been very fast-paced, up tempo. I think it's just beginning of the season, kind of sloppy play to start off the season. We've seen a lot of missed layups, that sort of thing. It's just these teams, especially for both teams, but especially the Chiefs, losing out on so many dynamic players from last year, that's hurting the offense a lot.
Right.
As we are getting set once again, Branson Reed to bring the ball up over the timeline, and I believe the foul was
clock. I don't think.
Oh,
no,
the
clock.
clock didn't
Clock
start. Okay. So the Chiefs will inbound from the sideline right by us. Reed brings the ball up over the timeline, backing down his man. Now kicks it out. Looking over to far side wing. 3-ball, a little too strong, and rebounded by Nesmith. Anderson pushes the ball up over the timeline. Stutter steps, drives, and gets it stripped. Great steal by TJ Stanley. And he thought about speeding it up, but had to slow it down. Brooks with the ball. Now thought about kicking it inside. Now does. Stanley backing down his man and gets it almost gets it stripped. Now passes it inside. Stutter step, lay in, good by Jamie Brooks.
And a foul.
And the Chiefs take their second lead of the game, 9-7. And Jamie Brooks goes to the line to shoot the end one to try to extend the lead out to 3 with 2:07 left to go in the first quarter.
And I may be a little bit of a homer. I'm not going to lie to you. It is my home school. But that seemed like a little bit of a weak foul there. Just not much. He was out of the play, and it was
one of those he kind of bumped into him. As the end one is up and good, so the Chiefs take a 10-7 lead now with 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Anderson brings the ball up over the timeline, passes it to Nesmith. Nesmith looking for a pass, far side wing, far side corner now. Looking again, tries to get it inside, and it gets stripped. Panthers with the ball. They'll push the pace. 3-ball from the near side corner, a little too weak. Rebounded by Stanley, laying no good, and that ball will go out of bounds. So Javon Willard is actually number 32, so change in the roster from what I had. As the Chiefs inbound the ball. Reed with the ball, passes it to the near side wing, trying to drive, and they're going to call a traveling violation on KJ.
It wasn't even a travel. He pushed off with his elbow and up into
offensive foul on KJ Stanley.
And that's one of those things where you can't throw an elbow at a defensive player.
Not at all. As bringing the ball up, passes it to the far side wing. Stutter steps into the in front of the 2-point line. Or 3-point line, excuse me. Robbie Anderson takes a shot, but no good. Lay-in attempt, no good. But Jamie Brooks will go to the line to shoot 2. That will be a foul on Brian Beavers.
And even on the calls he does get, he's in the refs here, always talking.
That's Coach Walker for you, as the first free throw by Brooks is up and good. And that'll extend the lead out to 4. 11-7, Chiefs in the lead with 1:15 left to go. As the Chiefs decide to take a timeout. Kind of surprising to take a timeout when you've got the momentum on a 4-0 run right now.
Yes and no. And It's one of those things where I think because he didn't take a timeout after the free throws.
Yeah.
It's one of those things in basketball where if you are able to call a timeout, regather, and then shoot a free throw, you're already getting that.
True.
You have another chance. You have a chance to get that momentum kind of right back, even though you never really lost it. I will say for both teams, this looks sloppy.
Yeah.
And I think that's standard for beginning of the season, especially North Myrtle Beach hasn't played an actual game yet.
Yes.
And Carolina Forest having 2 games under their belt should be a little bit more.
Kind of surprising, that Carolina Forest isn't a little more polished.
But I think
at this point,
it's also and that's kind of been the identity of the Carolina Forest Panthers team so far is they start slow and then they explode after the first quarter. We'll see how it goes for us this game.
Brooks steps to the line to shoot his second free throw. Whistle blows as he takes the free throw, and there's a lane violation. He missed the free throw anyway, so it didn't matter.
And North Myrtle Beach setting up a press here.
Yeah, Chiefs going to go with the full court press. They are able to get the ball in, and now the Chiefs back up as Anderson brings the ball up over the timeline. Scudder steps, kicks it out. Over on the far side wing is DeBrol. DeBrol tries to drive. He'll lay it up, and good off glass. And just like that, it's an 11-9 ball game with less than a minute left to go. Trying to get it inside, now kicks it out, kick out. Long 3-ball, a little too strong by KJ Stanley. And it's stolen by the Chiefs after an attempt to drive, but a little too short on the 3-point attempt. But a foul is blown. And a foul will be called on Carolina Forest.
And to mention the sloppiness, 10 combined fouls in this first quarter. And that's not something that either coach wants in a game.
No, not at all.
Especially not even in a game, in a first quarter where if you're Coach DeWalt, you don't want to be down and giving up fouls.
And not to mention, fouls don't reset in between quarters. It's only in between halves.
Right.
Kick out, 3-ball, a little too strong by Stanley, but KJ Stanley, off the offensive rebound, is able to get the lay-in himself, and it's now 13-9. Castle with the ball on the near side wing. He'll drive, but loses the handle. It will go out of bounds, but they will say it went off of the tips of TJ Stanley, and it will remain Panther ball. 8.4 left to go in the first quarter. Big inbound attempt for the Panthers as they look to cut this deficit to a one-possession game, and he loses. Now that's going to cost him as he lost the handle of the ball.
You go to set the play and you slap the ball, and you can't slap it out of your hand.
Seth DeBro lost control of the ball, and as a result, the Chiefs will get the opportunity to get the last possession of the quarter. Full court press for Carolina Forest, breaking it and getting over the timeline is Cloninger. Cloninger takes a 3 and he drains it. They'll actually say it was a 2-pointer, not quite a 3, but that will end the quarter. 15-9, Chiefs in the lead. Chiefs going on a 8-2 run at the end of that quarter.
And I'm sorry for the folks at home. I know this is a North Myrtle Beach broadcast, but
we're kind of doing a mix.
I
posted it on the football page as well.
I'm gonna give a lot of the Carolina Forest side right now, and if I'm Coach DeWalt right now, I am not happy with how my team has played right now because it's been sloppy, and you only have 4 fouls, but even then you don't want those 4 fouls. And the sloppiness continues at the end of the quarter play where Seth just loses the ball.
Exactly.
You can't lose the ball on an inbounds play.
Exactly.
And
on the flip side, if you're Coach Walker, you're happy about how this first quarter started, but there are some things that definitely need to improve, like missing lay-ins that you should be making. So, it's the first quarter. We'll see how things go from here.
Still got 24 more minutes.
As the Chiefs, I believe, will get the ball to start off. Yes, they will. TJ Stanley will trigger the inbound at half court. Gets it into Cloninger. Cloninger brings it over the timeline. Now passes it to TJ Stanley. Stanley tries to drive, loses the handle, and it gets stripped. Julian Nesmith with the steal, but he loses the handle, getting put from behind, and it's taken by the Chiefs. Stanley drives, kick out, 3-ball, too short, way too short. But a scramble for the ball, and the Panthers come up. Oh no, the Chiefs come up with it, and they will draw a foul.
And
that will be a call on Trey Potts.
And there's not much you can do if you're Trey there. He went straight up almost, and it's just the contact there. He drew the foul and was able to get to the line.
Jamie Brooks to the line to shoot two. He's gotten to the line a lot today thus far. That free throw is no good, rolls out. 7:30 left to go in the first half. 15-9, Chiefs in the lead.
And they're saying he has blood on his shirt. And he's got to get a sub.
Oh, they're going to have to take him out because he has blood on his shirt. Trying to figure out where it's from. But as a result, now Branson Reed will come in to shoot the second free throw.
And from what I've seen so far, that's a big loss because of how much he's gotten to the rack.
That rolls out, and the Panthers get possession back. Nesmith brings the ball up over the timeline, passes it to the far side corner, now back out. Fletcher with the ball. Fletcher driving far side, now tries to kick it out. Almost loses the handle. Now back out. Now Nesmith, 3-ball from the near side wing, a little too strong, and it's rebounded by the Chiefs. Stanley will push the ball up over the timeline. Kick out, 3-ball from the near side corner, a little too weak, and it's rebounded by Carolina Forest. Long outlet pass. Now Bennett with the ball. He drives and lays it in. Oh, actually passes it inside, and Wesley Fletcher gets the lay-in. Now going coast to coast is TJ Stanley, and he draws the foul, and he will go to the line to shoot two.
And again, it's TJ Stanley is just too big. He's just getting to the rack at will and drawing fouls when maybe if it's somebody smaller, they're not getting that foul call.
Exactly. And it looks like they got Jamie Brooks hooked up and ready to go back out as he will go out following this free throw. The first free throw a little too weak off the front iron and off the backboard and out. Jamie Brooks comes back into the game as Stanley's second free throw is no good. That time a little too strong as a great offensive rebound. And they're going to call an offensive foul on Jamie Brooks, but it looked like he got that one clean. And Coach Walker is not happy about. And they're going to call a technical foul on Wesley.
No, they called it a foul on Wesley Fletcher, but originally called it on.
Yeah, they originally called it on Brooks, but they switched it and did give it to Fletcher. So Brooks will go to the line once again to shoot two.
1-1.
Actually, no, yeah, you're right. It is a 1-1 because that foul was the Panthers' seventh and put them in the bonus. So first free throw is up and good, so he will get his second. 16-11 with 6:40 to go in the first half. Chiefs in the lead. Second free throw is up and good as well. And it's now 17-11. Panthers really need to get something going here as driving and almost losing the handle, having to pick up his dribble, tries to get it inside. Fletcher misses the free throw, or excuse me, the lay-in attempt. And now driving, Stanley near side baseline, in! Lays it up and in, and it's 19-11 Chiefs. Potts with the ball, passes it to Nesmith. Nesmith Out to Bennett. Bennett gets it inside to Nesmith. Nesmith puts it up and in and draws the foul, so he will go to the line for the end one. That foul is on Landon Kloinger.
And that's just the length and we talked about it. We've already seen the athleticism on the dunk, and now we see the length of Jonah Naismith being able to keep that ball away from the defender and just puts it up as he gets the contact.
The end one for Nesmith is too strong, rebounded by the Chiefs. Stanley brings the ball up over the timeline. He'll go far side. He tried a fadeaway and got it rejected by Fletcher. Long outlet pass. Now gets it up. No good. Offensive rebound and tip back by Potts is good.
But they're going to call an offensive foul on Jonah for over the back. I think.
That's a huge blow. Yeah, you are right.
And
they're going to call an over the back. And not only does that hurt Carolina Forest because they missed that lay-in, but the Chiefs, because that's technically a defensive foul, the Chiefs get 1-1 now.
And again, I might be homering, but that's iffy. Jonah
I mean, it certainly did look like he climbed over his back a little bit.
But to be honest, Jonah jumped over him and he didn't. And you can't hang on the rim. That's offensive goaltending. So there's nowhere else really to go. I mean, yes and no. But either way, you are correct. That is huge. That's a huge swing in this game right now.
So going to the line to shoot the 1-1 is Landon Kloinger. The first free throw rims out, but it's tipped out. Carolina Forest is able to get it. Going up the court. Thought about passing it inside. Now out to Nesmith. Nesmith tries to get it inside, but a foul will be called on the Chiefs. That will be on Cam Locklear. The Panthers are also in the bonus, so Micah Nelson will go to the line to shoot the 1-1 as Zach McHugo checks in for the Chiefs. So
and he's got more. And number 20, who's number 20?
Oh, he's got even more blood, so he's going to have to come out. And that's a big blow for the Chiefs if they can't get that stopped. Having Jamie Brooks out of the game for an extended period of time, that's not good for North Myrtle Beach.
And he's got a bloody nose. That's where it keeps coming from. He's got a bloody nose.
So Micah Nelson goes to the line to shoot the 1-1. First free throw is good. And now it's a 19-14 game with 5:40 left to go in the first half. Second free throw for Nelson is a little too short. Rebounded by Stanley. Stanley will bring the ball up over the timeline. Thought about handing off. Now a drive baseline, kick out, another pass, another kick out, but that time it's stolen. And Jonah Nesmith, slam-a-jamma!
And you hear the and you know what's coming.
I knew exactly what was coming when you said that. As soon as he got out in transition, you knew exactly what was happening. And another almost steal for the Panthers. And
they're going to give the ball to Carolina Forest.
Yeah, they're going to say it was tipped off of a Chief player. I believe it was off of KJ Stanley. And the Panthers get the ball back with an opportunity to at least cut the deficit down to 1. Down by 3, 19-16 Chiefs in the lead. Lay-in, no good, a little too strong. Rebounded by North Myrtle Beach. Now bringing the ball up over the timeline is Stanley. Stanley laying good. What a runner by KJ Stanley. TJ Stanley. Now Nesmith, 3-ball from the point. A little too strong, and it'll ricochet out of bounds. And the Chiefs will take over once again with 4:40 left to go in the first half. 21-16.
And this is going to be a big stretch going into halftime. The last 4 minutes and 40 seconds of this game are going to be huge for both teams.
Because, the Chiefs looked like they were trying to pull away for a little bit, but the Panthers, especially after that dunk by Nesmith, have some momentum once again. Chiefs bring the ball up over the timeline. TJ Stanley with the ball. He'll drive, kick out, 3-ball from the far side wing, no good. Rebounded by Carolina Forest. A scramble for the ball, and a foul will be called on North Myrtle Beach.
And they're going to be shooting a 1-on-1 again.
That foul is called on Willard.
And these 1-on-1s for the rest of the game are going to be huge for both of these teams. And it's going to come down to who makes more free throws.
Micah Nelson going to the line once again. And that was one of the Chiefs' problems last year, was free throw efficiency, as that one's a little too strong, and it's rebounded by North Myrtle Beach. Stanley brings the ball up over the timeline. Now looking at the far side wing, trying to get the ball out. Had some pressure, gets it out. Cloninger, 3-ball, buckets! I believe they're going to call that a 2, just in front of the line, but still a great shot by Cloninger, and it's now 23-16. Nesmith with the ball, passes it out. Now thought about getting it inside, now driving. And a scramble for the ball, gets it out. 3-ball, buckets! Great shot by Jonah Nesmith from the near side corner. And it's 23-19 with 3.5 to go in the first half. And North Myrtle Beach says we need a timeout.
And that's just a momentum killer there.
Yeah.
That's okay, they're kind of going on a run a little bit before in the last kind of 4 minutes before half. Let's calm down and let's try to break their momentum. Now, if you're Carolina Force, you have to capitalize here.
Absolutely.
You have the momentum, and you've been able to we've seen the first 3 today, right there just now. Jonah has not taken over yet, but if he's getting there, and if he can continue to drive and kick, as we've seen a lot of times, this Carolina Force offense will start clicking. And if you're North Myrtle Beach here, you got to figure out a way to stop that.
Well, what the Chiefs need to do, they need to slow the pace down. I know it's not in their nature, but they need to kind of maybe play some half-court offense a little bit.
With that being said, TJ Stanley's also going coast to coast every possessions,
true.
every couple of possessions. So do you really want to slow the pace down?
What also they need to get that bleeding with Jamie Brooks
right
under Pat, because him not being on the court for the last minute and a half, 2 minutes or so has really hurt them.
And they're still cleaning him up. And one thing I want to mention before they get back on the court, TJ Stanley and Mo Davis, he hasn't gotten in yet, but I'm sure he will at some point. A little bit of family ties. They played on the same AAU team down their name was Ori Select.
Oh, okay.
They played on the same AAU team. So I'm wondering, if Mo gets on the court, do they guard each other? Do they guard each other in this game?
That could be an interesting little dynamic there. As both teams are entering the court once again. Chiefs will inbound the ball.
God.
TJ Stanley to trigger the inbound. Cloninger loses it. Nesmith steals it. Gets the pressure. Lays it up, no good, but will draw the foul on Cloninger. And he will go to the line to shoot 2.
And as much as I'm a homer, that was a double dribble.
Yes,
he held it on his back and kind of just let it go and then dribbled again. You can't do that.
And I think that's why Coach Walker was not happy about that.
And he slammed his drink. I'm kind of getting in the spray zone of his in his slamming of his drinks.
That's what happens when you're on this side of the court. As the first free throw is good, and he's chirping at the ref right now, saying that was a double dribble.
And to be fair, he's kind of right.
So the second free throw is up. No good, too strong. But an offensive rebound by Carolina Force, but he will step out of bounds. So the Chiefs will get the ball. Great attempt, though, by Ty Bennett.
And Ty Bennett's another one of those just hustle players. We played together on JV last year. He is a hustle player. He might not be the biggest on the court, but he will hustle.
And he showed it right there, almost going right into the Chiefs bench. Full court press for Carolina Forest. That gets tipped out of bounds by Robbie Anderson.
That was Micah, because I saw a big dude coming right at my face. But that's another one of those energy guys that we talked about.
Chiefs are able to get it into the court this time around. Bringing it over the timeline is Branson Reed. Branson almost gets it stripped. Passes it to Brooks. Brooks gets it to Cleanger. Cleanger back to Brooks. Inside. A weak floater is too weak by McHugo. And it's rebounded by Carolina Forest. 3 ball from the near side wing. Too strong by Bennett. And it's rebounded by the Chiefs. Long outlet pass, and it goes off of Stanley's hands, and it's stripped by the Panthers.
That hit the ref.
Long outlet pass. Lane attempt, no good. Rebounded by the Chiefs, and back and forth we go. A long outlet pass, and almost a collision there by Branson Reed. He's able to get the ball back. Kick out. Thought about taking the 3, was McHugo, but now he floats it, no good. Rebounded by the Panthers, and going up for the lay. Thought he wasn't going for the dunk. He was going for the lay, and you thought he was going for the dunk.
He had a lane to do it, but he got fouled, so he gets the 2 shots anyway. And that was a lot of running for 0 points to be scored there.
What, like at least 45 seconds of just running back and forth with no points scored. That foul is called on KJ Stanley, as the first free throw is no good. As TJ Stanley checks in for KJ Stanley.
I no longer feel safe at this table.
Just wait until the end of the game.
Oh, Lord.
Especially if this one's close.
Right. And it's looking like it will be.
Yeah. As the second free throw is too strong again for Nesmith. Chiefs are able to get the rebound. Stanley pushes it up, goes coast to coast. Lay in, no good, but he will draw the foul and go to the line to shoot 2. That foul is called on Seth DeBrol.
And Seth DeBrol chirping at the ref, too. Oh, there's a lot.
There's a lot of ref chirping in this game thus far.
And not to mention, there's been a lot of foul calls, which is why there's been a lot of ref chirping.
Both teams, the Chiefs are in the double, or the Panthers are in the double bonus, while the Chiefs still in the single bonus. As that first free throw misses. Oh, no.
No, he was wrong. No, he
okay, I get.
Yeah.
It says there's only 9 fouls by the Panthers. So I thought, no, it was a shooting foul. You're right.
Right.
Yeah. As the second free throw is a little too strong, and a whistle is blown.
Whistle.
And a
foul, lane violation.
Lane violation will be called on the Panthers, I think.
Yeah,
Stanley will get a third opportunity after missing the first 2.
As a basketball player, I can actually have firsthand experience. Ref games like this are not fun.
Oh, I'm sure. As the third free throw attempt is also too strong. Offensive rebound, though, and put back in by Jamie Brooks. Jamie Brooks has been on fire tonight. Nesmith, near side wing, stutter step, crossover, trying to drive, loses the handle on the ground, is able to get it to Jennings. Jennings tries to get it inside, but it's stolen. Coast to coast, Cleanger lays it in. 27-20 with 2 left to go in the first half. The Chiefs are starting to take over. Passes it over to the far side wing. Nelson now passes it inside. Now out. Now back out. Jennings almost lost the handle. Now gets it to Anderson. Anderson inside. Trying to get it up. No good. Gets it stripped. Still on the ground. Scramble for the ball, and Chiefs come up with it. Cleanger with the ball. Now driving. Stanley coast to coast. Laying good. And the Chiefs are going on a huge run right here. Nesmith with the ball, passes it over to DeBrol, who drives and lays it up and in off glass. And it's now 29-22 with a minute left to go in the first half. Stutter step, Branson Reed passes it inside, lay-in, good! KJ Stanley with the lay-in. Nesmith with the ball near side wing. Now passes it to Nelson. Nelson, long 3-ball by DeBrol, a little too weak, but defensive rebound by the Chiefs. Stanley pushing it coast to coast, and he just bowls into.
And that's a charge.
Yeah, that's going to be a charge. Jonah Nesmith taking the charge. I'm sure a few linebackers wish they could have done that to Luke Janik this season. That looked like a Luke Janik just bowling someone over on the football field.
And he's been doing it all day. It's just a matter of time before they get that charge call.
Well, now the post play of Carolina Forest needs to understand, as that 3-ball a little too weak. Offensive rebound, though, but the Chiefs do come up with it as DeBro. That was a three-pointer by DeBro. Passes inside.
Whoa.
And a crazy play there by Brooks. Lost control while trying to go in for the lay-in, and they call a travel violation.
So how long do they let this guy just talk to the ref and yell at the ref before they call a tech? He's been tripping in the mouth since that foul was called.
They let Coach Ryan Walker go a good bit.
That's
as now DeBro passes it. Now Nesmith with it far side wing. Passes it inside. Lane attempt too weak by Jennings. Rebound by the Panthers, but are not able to get off a shot before the end of the half. And the Chiefs will go into the locker room with a 9-point lead, 31-22. We'll take a quick break and come right back with second half action right here on the North Myrtle Beach Chiefs Sports Network. Welcome back to North Myrtle Beach Chiefs basketball here on the North Myrtle Beach Chiefs Sports Network as the Chiefs lead Carolina Forest 31-22 at the half. And we'll get you some first half stats right now. First for the Panthers, Jonah Nesmith has 12 points and 2 fouls. Chance Castle does not have a point but does have 1 foul. Same with Trey Potts. Seth DeBro has 6 points and a foul. Micah Nelson has 3 points. Brian Beavers does not have any points, but does have 2 fouls. And Wesley Fletcher has 5 points and 2 fouls. So those are your totals for Carolina Forest. Surprise, surprise, as Preston Payne rejoins me. Surprise, surprise for the Panthers. Jonah Nesmith is the leading scorer.
Yeah, that's. Oh God, really? I would have never expected that. I wonder who could have told you that before the game started in our X Factors.
And for the Chiefs, Branson Reed 1 point. Cam Locklear has 3 fouls already. That's something to keep an eye out for. KJ Stanley has 2 points and 2 fouls. Landon Kloinger has 7 points and 2 fouls. Jamie Brooks has 6 points and 1 foul. TJ Stanley has 18 points.
Do we have a pair of brothers on that team?
Yes. Yes,
I was about to say.
And 1 foul.
Yeah.
Zach McHugo has 2 fouls. And I believe I'm trying to find. Oh, there he is. Jamie Brooks had. Well, yeah, I already said Jamie Brooks has 8 points. And that's all the point. Oh, and Ty Hoskins has, or excuse me, Javon Williams has 1 foul. So those are your totals for both teams. And, the Chiefs just, especially that last part of the second quarter, just completely dominated. But the Panthers did find kind of the Achilles heel if they could do it, and that is drawing offensive fouls, drawing those charges.
Right. And we said going into the last 30 minutes, or not 30 minutes, football, we said going back in the last 3 minutes that it was going to be the team who makes a run that was going to take the momentum into the half, and that was definitely North Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
And now if you're Coach DeWall and this Carolina Forest coaching staff, you have to limit. And I know you mentioned North Myrtle Beach on wanting to slow the game down, but I think Carolina Forest needs to do that. They have the size to do it, and they have the athleticism to do that. And if they just slow the game down and don't allow as many transition buckets, I think that really helps Carolina Forest's chances.
Go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
What I was gonna say was, this game is looking like, and what's scary to me, because I did not think this was going to be the case going into the season with how many pieces the Chiefs lost. This is going to come down to a game of who can get hot between Jonah Nesmith, and for the Chiefs, it seems like you have a couple of options. You have Jamie Brooks and you have TJ Stanley as well.
Right, and for Carolina Forest, it's going to be. Did you see how many points does Jonah Naismith have right now?
8, I believe.
8. So that's about a third of your point total right now. A little bit over that, actually. So you have to find that second score. With North Myrtle Beach, it's by committee. It's not just one person just going at it and saying, "Hey, we're gonna go to this guy and we're gonna beat you with it." It's gonna be by committee. TJ Stanley, Brooks, all of them just going at it. And I'll tell you what, if Carolina Forest doesn't start boxing out, this is going to be a long game.
Well,
because they have this, again, they have the size to do it. It's just they seem not to want to.
Well, and what's weird, we talked about Wesley Fletcher at the beginning of the game, and it seemed like he was going to be a big focal point in the first part, or in the beginning of the game in the first quarter, but then he was nowhere to be found in the second quarter.
And that's kind of because they've been going fast.
Yeah.
You can't get as many looks inside when you're going so fast. It's going to be try to get a layup off of a fast break with one of your wing players and then get back on defense.
Yeah.
It's not slow it down, get it to your bigs inside, and then get back on defense. It's too fast paced, and that's why I said slow it down for Carolina Forest.
Yeah. We'll go around the region real quick. West Florence and Wilson both have played 3 games, and both are 3-0. Hartsville 1-1, as well as Darlington. South Florence 0-1 thus far this season, and both Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach. This is North Myrtle Beach's first game as well, obviously. Myrtle Beach not playing until tomorrow, and tonight West Florence is playing Lake City, and they currently trail the Panthers 33-26 at the half. Kind of surprising that Lake City, but then again, basketball, we've talked about it. Basketball is one of those games that, one guy gets hot and a smaller team can win those games.
Right. And this is my Carolina Forest and just our normal Carolina Forest football broadcasts coming to me. I was waiting for you to say names like St. James,
Oh, yeah,
Saucony,
I know.
and I was like,
Wait, what?
Oh, North Myrtle Beach's region.
Yeah.
And
I'm not sure who's playing tonight in
I'm not sure either, and I was really confused as to why none of those names were being mentioned. I was, again,
I know it's weird for you.
It's a struggle.
I know,
It's a struggle.
I know. As both teams come out on the floor to get ready for the start of the second half, and before we get started, what are the keys for both teams?
I think Carolina Forest, they just need to slow it down a little bit. Just take your time. Get to your bigs. You have the size, and down low, if they collapse on you, kick it out. You have the three-point shooters to do that.
Which we haven't seen much. I mean, Nesmith took a couple, but not
and
many.
Seth DeBrule is a three-point shooter. He's 0 for 2, I think, right now.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
But right now, you need to be able to get it inside before you can do that. And for North Myrtle Beach, it's kind of keep up the fast pace. It's working right now. TJ Stanley is going off. He has 18 in the first half.
And just keep on driving into the lane.
And that's another one of those things. If Brooks doesn't get hot and you stop TJ Stanley, there's no one on this team that's really been able to put stuff together. And that we've seen so far.
Yeah, and the three ball has not been working at all for North Myrtle Beach. So that's something. If you can shut down the lane, the Panthers have a chance of coming back into this game. Chiefs up by 9, 31-22. Carolina Forest will start with the ball. As the Panthers inbound the ball, and we get the second half underway. Robbie Anderson with the ball, kicks it out to DeBrule. DeBrule, far side wing, gets it inside, trying to drive, and drawing the foul is Wesley Fletcher, and he will go to the line to shoot 2.
And what were my factors to the second half?
And what did I mention at halftime, how we haven't said Wesley Fletcher's name almost for the entire second quarter. There he goes right there, so. The first free throw by Fletcher is good. Nothing but nylon, NBN. Fletcher's second free throw is too short. Rebounded by Stanley. Stanley with the ball at the point. Looking, getting some pressure, picked up his dribble and tried to get it stolen.
Oh.
But the Chiefs get it right back. Stanley is able to get it back. Stutter step drive, kick out. Oh, stolen. Going coast to coast is DeBrule, laying good.
And this is the start you want if you're Carolina Force right now.
31-25 with 7:15 left to go in the third quarter. High pass. Picking up his dribble, trying to get it back to Stanley. Stanley stutter steps, gets double teamed, picks up his dribble, and it gets stolen by Fletcher. Fletcher pushes it up. He crosses over, drives, lane attempt no good, but they're going to call a foul. I think
that's a bad call.
Coach Walker is right
that's
on that
a bad
one.
Call.
He clearly walked. He took 2 steps.
No, it's not even a walk. It wasn't a foul. In general, that was all ball on the block, and even if he didn't travel, that's a block.
But either way, Fletcher will go to the line to shoot 2. First free throw is good.
And this is what I mean when I say get your bigs involved. You have to get it to them and just let them make a move. A lot of these bigs for Carolina Forest can dribble the ball, and that's the difference between a big from, say, another school in the county.
Yeah. As the second free throw by Fletcher rolls in, went off the front of the rim and in. A slight full court press for Carolina Forest. Stanley trying to get it over the timeline. Clevenger gets it over the timeline. He will get fouled.
They got a timeout off.
Oh, no, they're going to call a timeout. Coach Ryan Walker not happy with the Chiefs trying to avoid the pressure, and seemingly the double team for Carolina Forest is working.
And on our JV team, we don't really press a lot often just because it's more we're tall enough to where we can just play 50 man-to-man. But if they do decide to press, this area right here, right in the corner of this half court, right beyond the half court line, is where you want to set up that trap. That trap is exactly where, because they can't go backwards.
Yeah,
that's a backcourt violation.
Yeah.
So
you set that trap in that triangle. It's basically like a coffin corner punt in football.
And it's kind of just pin your ears back and just wall up.
Yeah.
And North Beach is lucky to get that timeout off because it looked like it was going to be an interception and go to the other way.
Stanley with the ball now over to Clevenger. Clevenger at the point, right near the timeline. Thought about passing it far side, now gets it over to Stanley on the near side wing, and now gets it out to Clevenger again. Kick out, Locklear looking, now gets it back to Clevenger. Clevenger getting double teamed, tries to get it inside, but throws it too high, and it will go out of bounds. Carolina Forest ball. And the Panthers, that pressure is really working right now.
And that's what they showed in the beginning of the first half, and they just didn't go back to it after the beginning.
Driving, laying a little too strong by Nesmith, and it's rebounded by the Chiefs. Clevenger getting some pressure. Now gets the pass. Now back to Clevenger. And he almost gets stripped, but they will call a foul on Robbie Anderson. I think he got a little bit of his hand.
I think that's a combination of a little bit of hand and a lot of bit of talking coming from the North Beach coach. And that's when you hear it enough, you're just kind of sick of it and you just kind of call it just because. It did not look like he got a lot of that hand.
Locklear passes out to Clevenger. Clevenger far side wing. Now over to Stanley. Stanley stutter step, drive, floater, good off the backboard and in.
That's just a good move by TJ Stanley right there.
Now Nesmith with the ball, passes it to Nelson. Nelson back to Stanley, over to Fletcher. Fletcher back out to DeBrol. Back to Fletcher. Fletcher passes it inside to Nelson. Nelson at the high point, passes it out, and driving, no good on the lay-in attempt, but I believe Robbie Anderson will draw the foul before the pass inside to Fletcher.
And that's another one of those pieces that we lost. Grant Warren was our point guard for a while, and Kyle Watkins, a combination of the two, and both of them left in this past season. So that's another thing. They're trying to replace the point guard on the fly.
Landon Clevenger draws the foul there. And that's something for both of these teams. They were much more reliant on the three-point shot last year, and now it looks like both of these teams are much more of a post offense. As that ball almost gets stripped, but it is not, as pushing down Micah Nelson knocked down Zach McHugo trying to recover the ball. But no foul is called. DeBrol with the ball, passes it out. Nelson now back out to Fletcher. Fletcher far side wing, stutter step. Thought about driving and it gets stripped. And the Chiefs still on the ground.
Ooh.
And a jump ball will be called.
That's a really early jump ball.
It was still up for grabs.
That was a really early jump ball. And this is one of those things I don't like ref games. And I call the ref games because they've blowed the whistle more times than they've dribbled the ball today.
Possession error will favor the Chiefs. So the Chiefs will get the ball over the timeline. Stanley with the ball at the point. Now passes it over to the far side corner. 3-ball, good! KJ Stanley with the trifecta, and it's 36-27 with 4.5 left to go in the third quarter. And a whistle is blown, and foul is called on the Chiefs.
One thing to take note of, the Chiefs have a 9-point lead right now, but they're also 4 fouls to 1 against Carolina Forest.
Yeah.
And that's going to be huge coming down the line if it comes down to
free throw.
A free throw.
Yeah. Anderson triggers the inbound from the baseline. Looking, a long inbound, and it almost gets stolen, still on the ground, and it will roll out of bounds. They will say it went off of a Panther
Mike and
fingertip.
Nelson's like, that's...
I'm not sure. I think you were right. It was Micah Nelson whose fingertip that went off of.
Yeah, that's...
As TJ Stanley will trigger the inbound. Branson Reed brings the ball up over the timeline. Getting some pressure right at half court. Driving. Back. Passes out. Kick out. 3-ball. A little too weak. Rebounded by Carolina Forest. Long outlet pass. DeBrol inside. Nesmith laying
What a pass. What a pass there by Seth DeBrol.
Absolutely. A great pass right there. Reed with the ball at the point, and they're going to call it travel.
They're going to call double dribble there.
They're going to call a double dribble on the Chiefs.
Same effect.
Yeah, same difference.
And Seth DeBrol with a nice behind-the-back pass to Jonah Naismith on the last play, setting up nicely. And this game feels like close and not at the same time.
Yeah.
7-point game, and that's nothing. That's nothing in basketball with how much time's left.
Anderson brings the ball up over the timeline, passes it over to DeBrol. DeBrol with the 3-ball from the near side corner, no good, a little too short, but it's rebounded by Nelson. Nelson kicks it out. Driving is Fletcher, and he will draw the foul and go to the line to shoot 2. Oh, no, they will not call it in the act of shooting. So Anderson will trigger the inbound. DeBrol with the ball near side wing, kicks it out, 3-ball, too strong. Rebounded by Carolina Forest, scrambled for the ball. Carolina Forest is able to come up with it. And a jump ball will be called. Possession error will favor Carolina Forest.
And you can see a couple times, Carolina Forest wants to get that 3-ball open on these inbounds plays.
Anderson triggering the inbound from the baseline. Long pass, and it will go well over DeBrol's head. He is able to come up with it, and he will go coast to coast, laying no good, and they will call a charge on DeBrol. Chiefs ball.
And again, another crazy sequence that we've seen today.
We've seen a lot of those. We've just seen these crazy sequences. And I think like we talked about earlier, I think it's that beginning of the season jitters and just not having your A game. As the Chiefs bring the ball up over the timeline. Brooks with the ball, passes inside and kick out. 3-ball, no good. Offensive rebound though by Stanley, and he will draw the foul and go to the line to shoot 2.
Look, I don't want to sound like a homer. And I am. I'm going to be honest, I am.
I understand.
But that looked so clean. He stood straight up. That was just Jonah being taller than the person who was shooting the basketball.
And unfortunately, that kind of happens when you're a tall guy.
Right.
Especially in high school. As the first free throw is too short. Rims out. 36-29 with 3:06 left to go in the third quarter.
And we mentioned the quote-unquote family ties here. Mo Davis is in the game for the Carolina Forest Panthers, and just as that happens, TJ Stanley comes out. You gotta love it.
They're like, nope.
You know too much about the other player.
You're not combining this.
Nope.
As the second free throw is good by Stanley. It reminds me of when Brooke and Robin Lopez played on different teams and they never played against each other head-to-head. Mike and Nelson thought about kicking it inside, now kicks it out. Bennett with the ball, brings it near side, now over to Nelson. Nelson inside, backing down his man, and the layup is good A great back down by Wesley Fletcher. Wesley Fletcher just using that strength and stolen by Carolina Forest. Driving, lay in, a little too strong, but the tip back is good. Mo Davis with the lay in. Oh, no, excuse me, that was Micah Nelson who tipped that ball back in. Now pushing it up over the timeline. Locklear loses the handle, but in the process of trying to get it, Micah Nelson tips it out of bounds, and the Chiefs will retain possession. 37-33. This game far from over. Branson Reed crossing the timeline. Stutter step. Passes inside. It's stolen.
Off the glass.
Going coast to coast. A nice up and under and lay in good by Micah Nelson.
What a stutter step
and it's
there.
37-35.
And another run by one of these teams, and
Yeah.
this is getting crazy.
KJ Stanley now brings the ball up over the timeline. Passes it inside, now out. Double teamed out and in the corner. And whistle will be blown. I'm not sure what they're calling. I think they're calling a foul on Carolina Forest. They are.
Wow.
Going to be called on Wesley Fletcher.
Wow.
That's his third. And that could hurt the Panthers.
That's a big piece, too.
Yeah. Now, not quite as big as, Nesmith or DeBarro. As that ball stolen, but not able to hang on to it is Fletcher trying to get inside. Laying attempt, no good by Nelson, but he will draw the foul and go to the line to shoot, too. And this could tie the game back up for the Panthers. Zach McHugo draws the foul there. And you were mentioning how fouls, the Chiefs had so many more fouls early on.
And now it's right at 5.
It's right even, all right, as the first free throw is no good by Nelson. And it remains a 37-35 game. This game, just like last year, could go right down to the wire, looking like it. The second free throw by Nelson, good, nothing but nylon. Slight full court press by Carolina Forest. Pushing it up over the timeline is Stanley. He loses the handle. Lay in, good, coast to coast goes Ty Bennett. And now the Panthers retake the lead. Driving coast to coast himself, though, is KJ Stanley. He was back in the front court from when he lost the handle, and he just stayed back there, got the ball, and laid it up and in. Nesmith now with the ball near side wing. Now over to Nelson. Nelson stutter step, lay it good, plus contact, no whistle though. And now it's 40-39 Carolina Forest.
And a steal.
And a steal for Carolina Forest. 3-ball, buckets. Jonah Nesmith with the 3-ball. And it's 43-39 with a minute left to go in the third quarter.
What a run.
Absolutely what a run. And that ball will go out of bounds. And I believe the Panthers get the ball back, get the ball off of that out of bounds.
They do. He just threw it over the guy's head. And we said this is going to be a game of runs. And what a run.
Panthers just went on a 14-3 run.
What a run. And you know who led that run? Wesley Fletcher and Jonah Naismith. And just... We talked about it. Some of these around the quote unquote superstar pieces. Mo Davis in the game just now. He got 2 steals and an assist. Ty Bennett coming in, getting a couple assists. Jonah Naismith, the superstar, getting buckets. Wesley Fletcher getting to the foul line. This is what I expected coming from Carolina Forest coming out of the second half, or coming into the second half. And if you're North Myrtle Beach now you gotta.
You need to get the momentum back.
Right.
And Coach Walker called a timeout to try to make sure that the that they didn't get too hot, that the Panthers did not get too much momentum off of those multiple drives that ended up in the Panthers' favor.
Right. They went from down 9 to up 4 in about 3 minutes.
3 minutes, yeah. So, yeah, a 14-3 run for the Panthers. They'll look to continue it right here. Panthers get the ball. Mo Davis brings the ball up over the timeline. Now gets it inside. Now thought about drives and it loses the handle. It's stolen by the Chiefs. And that will go out of bounds.
Ooh.
They will say it went off of a Panther, so it will be Chiefs ball. Panthers going with a full court press. Triggering from the baseline is Stanley. Stanley drives and he will draw the foul.
Yeah, that's one of those that I actually do agree with. He got bumped on the way to the rack, and that's the Mo versus TJ Stanley. I was waiting if they were going to put them on each other.
And they did.
And they did. Well, I think it was more he got switched on.
Yeah, it was a switch. He put up a shot, but it did not count as a shot, so the Chiefs will inbound it. Bring it over the timeline is Stanley. Stanley passes it over to TJ. TJ tries to kick it out. Now gets it inside. Lay-in good by TJ Stanley. And the Chiefs now are down by one possession with 7 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Driving baseline, getting fouled is Mo Davis. That foul will be on Landon Cloninger. That's his fourth. So with 3.8 seconds left to go in the quarter, Davis will trigger the inbound from the baseline. Gets it out. Fletcher, 3-ball, buckets!
Naismith. Naismith at the buzzer.
Yeah, Naismith.
Naismith at the buzzer on because I have the inside information. So that play was called red. Red is just a screen down low and a screen up top, and you're looking for the inside because the screen guy's supposed to open up and just show himself. That time they went to the up route, and Jonah Naismith was coming off that curl and just went up and shot, and he made it. That is a big three because that stretches the lead from a one-possession game to a two-possession game.
And not only that, but gives you the momentum going into the final quarter.
Right.
That was a huge play for the Panthers right there. Great pass, great shot by by Naismith. And just absolutely drained it. Nothing but net on that one. And now I think for the Panthers, you just need to do what you've been doing this whole time.
They need to keep the pressure up.
Yeah.
And I said my key to the game was going to be slowing down the game. I guess not. I guess Carroll Force just doesn't care what I think.
Nope.
And
you know they're an up-tempo team.
Yeah, and I should have known better than to say to slow it down. Coach DeWall has been, as soon as he got here, he was like fast. But this is a big quarter, and
it's the last quarter.
It is. And one thing to notice, they're not going back with their starters. They're going back with the team that went on a big run to end the quarter.
Which makes sense.
Which makes sense.
Well, and not only that, you're keeping up the momentum, but also you're resting your starters for when you need them in crunch time at the end of the quarter.
But I would like to note to enact the lack of experience on this Carolina floor. That's on the floor right now. Only one of these players is a returner from last year, and that could hurt them down the line.
Driving down the lane, kick out, 3-ball, buckets! Branson Reed with the 3-ball from the near side wing, and just like that, the Chiefs are down by 2. Now bringing it up over the timeline. Nelson thought about passing it inside, now does. Lay-in attempt, no good, but an offensive rebound. Chiefs are able to get the ball. Still on the ground, though. Triple team.
Oh.
And they're going to call a foul on Carolina.
No, they're going to call a travel. It's a travel there.
Wow. They're going to call a travel on Dewan Goss.
They're going to say he moved his pivot foot there.
And Coach Walker is not happy at all with that call. Nesmith to trigger the inbound. Gets it out to Nelson. Kicks it out. Davis with the ball, passes it out. Bennett with the ball, now back over to Nesmith. Nesmith inside. Thought about kicking it out, now back out. Almost gets it over the timeline, almost an over and back, but is able to save it. Micah Nelson now trying to drive. He'll get it tipped out of his hands, and it will remain Panther ball. And Coach Walker thought it was a walk. That
was 2 steps. That was 2 steps. That was, but Micah's steps are just so long.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a third step.
Mo Davis triggering the inbound from the baseline. Almost gets it stolen, but it will get tipped out of bounds. Good job by Brooks tipping that ball out of bounds. So now they'll inbound from the sideline. Gets it inside, backing down his man. Lay-in attempt too weak by Beavers, and the Chiefs get the ball. Stanley brings the ball up over the timeline. He'll go coast to coast. Lay-in, good! Perfect lay-in by TJ Stanley off the backboard and in. And the Chiefs tie it up once again, 46-all, with just under 7 left to go in the game. Nesmith with the ball and loses a handle, and I thought
it got deflected.
Did get deflected. Nelson does retain possession though. Brings it near side wing. Stutter step, and they're going to call a traveling violation on Jonah Nesmith, and the Chiefs will get the ball back with 6:22 to go in the game. All tied up at 46.
And the energy in this gym is palpable.
And I mean, this isn't quite a packed house. It's not quite Myrtle Beach versus North Myrtle Beach.
But it's loud.
But it is loud, and it is probably about 75% full here tonight. Stanley brings it up over the timeline, gets a pick, brings it near side, gets double teamed, gets a tip, still trying to keep possession, is able to get it on his butt and trying to get up. And they're going to call a 5-second violation on KJ Stanley.
He just had nowhere to go with that ball.
He just got knocked on his butt and just couldn't do anything with it. He had 3 Panthers surrounding him.
And TJ Stanley grimacing on the sideline right here. That's going to be a big factor coming into the rest of this game.
Micah Nelson to trigger the inbound. Anderson brings the ball up over the timeline, passes it over, and a whistle is blown. Foul will be called as Wesley Fletcher put the layup attempt up. No good, but he will draw the foul and go to the line to shoot 2. So Fletcher to the line now to shoot 2. First free throw, a little too strong.
Who was that foul on?
I believe I couldn't hear that foul was.
Whoever it is, I think they're about to take whoever it is out. That was his 4th. It's Brooks.
Okay, yeah, that was
his 4th foul.
That's gonna be a big blow.
The 2 X Factors who you said that they had an option to go to, both are out of the game right now. That's huge for North Myrtle Beach.
As the second free throw by Fletcher is no good either. Rebounded by Locklear. Full court press. Locklear loses the handle, but is able to recover. Hands it off to Reed. Reed over to the far near side corner. Back out. Kick out. Locklear 3-ball, a little too strong. Rebounded by Fletcher. Bring it up over the timeline is Anderson. Anderson stop and pop 3-ball, a little too strong, but it's tipped out and the Panthers will regain possession. 3-ball there again, no good, and it's rebounded by Stanley. But it's stolen by the Panthers. Driving in, lay-in, good, and one for Jonah Nesmith. And that is a big momentum shift for Carolina Forest.
And if you're Micah Nelson, you're kind of looking at Jonah like, what in the world did you just do? Because that was a pass for Micah, and Jonah was cutting right down the lane, and he just kind of stole it out of his hand.
He was just like, nope, this is my ball.
No, it's my ball. And Jonah, we said we were waiting for him to take over the game. I think he has now.
Yeah. Not quite yet, but he's getting there.
He's definitely almost there. And the Chiefs now have 8 fouls again with the Carolina Forest Panthers only have 5.
The end one is too strong, but an offensive rebound for the Panthers.
And another foul.
And a foul is called as now Micah Nelson will go to the line to shoot 2.
And now number 11. Who's number 11?
KJ Stanley.
KJ Stanley now has 4.
So, yeah.
Big foul trouble for North Myrtle Beach right now.
We talked about it before, how they were in foul trouble early on in the third quarter. And, yeah, this foul trouble may be the death nail for the Chiefs, as the first free throw is no good, a little too weak by Nelson. But if the Panthers can't make their free throws, it's a moot point.
Right.
but just the fact that those players are not on the court offensively for the Chiefs could be a big deal. As the second free throw is up and good, extending the lead to 3 for the Panthers. 49-46 with 5 minutes left to go. Stanley pushes the ball up over the timeline, hands it off. Getting pushed is Reed. Reed, floater, a little too strong. Rebounded by Anderson. Anderson now pushes the ball up over the timeline. Looking for it. Now passes it to Bennett. Bennett inside. Layup is good by Nesmith. And like you mentioned, I think Nesmith is starting to get hot. Slight full court press for Carolina Forest. But Reed will take it over the timeline. Stanley with the ball. He'll drive. Lay in. Good. 51-48 with 4.5 to go in the game.
It can't be that easy if you're Carolina Forest. You have to put more pressure on the ball than that.
Robbie Anderson brings the ball up over the timeline, passes it over, driving down the lane, and they're going to call a traveling violation on Jennings. And
and Brooks is back in it.
Basically a line substitution for the Chiefs.
Brooks is back in for North Myrtle Beach. That could be big for the North Myrtle Beach coming down the stretch.
Stanley brings the ball up over the timeline. Loses the handle, and they will say it tipped off of Bennett. So will remain Chiefs ball. Brooks with the ball on the far side wing. Kicks it out. Now driving, loses the handle, does McHugo, and the Panthers take the ball right back. Nelson with the steal. Nelson brings the ball up over the timeline, hands it off to Anderson at the point. Passes it over, looking near far side wing, almost loses the handle, but is able to pass it inside. Nelson, lane attempt no good, but he will draw the foul and goes to the line to shoot 2.
And that's their 10th. And that's going to be huge because anytime they get fouled, even if it's not a shooting foul, it's going to be free throws.
With 3:45 left to go in the game.
Right. And that's 5. That's 5 for Brooks.
Oh, wow. That's a huge blow for the Chiefs as Jamie Brooks fouls out. Zach McHugo will check in for Brooks. And Coach Walker is not happy at all with these refs today.
I don't think he's been happy the entire game.
No, not at all. The first free throw by Nelson, it rims out. And Ryan Walker calling for a box out, anticipating a miss by Nelson. His second free throw. Good. And now they'll extend lead out to 4. 52-48 with 3:45 left to go in the game. Stanley brings the ball up over the timeline. Passes it over to the far side wing. Now inside. Now kicks it out. Stanley will drive. Floater. Rims out. And it's rebounded by Nelson. Nelson will go coast to coast. Gets the push off. No good, but will draw the foul. And remember how I mentioned that push-offs are still called defensive fouls?
Yeah. And it's one of those things as a basketball player, as long as they're calling it the same way on both sides, it's like okay. Matter. But still, that's definitely a bad call there by Carolina Forest, or for Carolina Forest.
Mike and Nelson,
but
first free throw is no good. Exactly, like we mentioned. So it remains a 4-point game. 52-48 with 3:23 left to go in the game. Second free throw, good. And that'll extend the lead out to 5. Slight full court press for the Panthers. McHugo will bring it up over the timeline. Or excuse me, Cleninger will bring it up over the timeline. He brings it far side wing. Now gets it over to Stanley. Stanley draws a foul. I think they're going to call it a defensive foul.
Yeah, it's defense.
Because it looked like he was trying to set his feet, but just could not quite set his feet quick enough. One more foul for the Chiefs to be in the bonus as the inbound from the baseline goes all the way to the half-court line. Cloninger with the ball. Passes it to Stanley. Stanley drives. Stop and pop from the free throw line. No good. Rebounded by Anderson. Long outlet pass. Driving. Nesmith
And that's
gets
a shove.
fouled.
That's a shove. I don't know why he's yelling. That was a shove by TJ Stanley on Jonah Naismith.
So TJ Stanley will draw his foul. That's his second.
So that's pretty big that he only has 2 fouls. They can play with him the
Yeah.
entire rest of the game.
But Jonah Nesmith now going to the line to try to extend the lead out beyond 5. First free throw, nothing but nylon. Perfect stroke for Nesmith. And now it's a 6-point game with 2:51 left to go in the game.
And if Carolina Forest closes this foul, it's going to be because of the NMB foul trouble.
Yeah. Second free throw is good as well, and now it's a 7-point game. 2:50 left to go in the game. Locklear gets double team, passes it inside,
Ooh,
laying
that's a
attempt,
foul.
no good.
But
But drawing the foul.
Robbie probably saved a layup right there. He had a wide open lane to the basket, and without that foul, that's probably an easy 2 shots. And now you got to make him earn it at the free throw line.
Javon Willard to the line. His first free throw, too strong.
Timeout, Carolina Forest.
Carolina Forest decides to call a timeout. So I guess this is just one of those timeouts to just slow things down a little bit.
Ice the free throw shooter.
Oh,
Right here,
sure.
okay. Right here, if he makes this free throw, it's a 2-possession game instead
Yeah.
of a 3-possession game.
Yeah.
That is a huge difference. And one thing that I was going to try to mention, but we have the time now, is that North Myrtle Beach has not been a great 3-point shooting team this game.
This is not the North Myrtle Beach that I've been accustomed to.
Right. And the more threes that they have to take to make it a
Get
close
back
game
into the game,
is
not good.
better for Carolina Forest. And worse for, obviously, that give and take, North Myrtle Beach would not be as good there. And right now, you got to go to TJ Stanley almost exclusively because he's been your point scorer.
Yeah.
Anytime it's touched anybody else's hands in a shot, it's almost always not gone in.
Well, yeah. Well, what doesn't help, though, is that your other scorer is off the court for the rest of the game
Right.
in Jamie Brooks.
And I mentioned the inexperience on the court at the beginning of the 4th quarter, and now they're going almost exclusively seniors, one junior in the game. And it does, but with how the sophomore that Mo Davis has played, why keep him? I understand it on some level, but you gotta have to ride the hot hand right now.
Also, he's been on the court for the entire 4th quarter, so
Right.
it may just be a matter of trying to give him some rest. As Javon Willard goes to the line, the second free throw rims out, rebounded by Carolina Forest. Nelson brings the ball up over the timeline. Nesmith with the ball. Now back out to Anderson. Anderson now kicks it inside. Backing down his man and kick out. Nesmith thought about taking a 3. Now Stutter step drives baseline lane,
Charge.
gets blocked, but oh no, they're gonna call a charge. Okay.
And yeah, that's a good call. That's a good charge there. He took away the baseline and there was nowhere for Jonah to go except straight up, and he couldn't do that at that point.
Looked like it was blocked at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think they just said that was Nesmith's 4th.
It very well could be. He's been in he's got a couple of charges and
So that could be a big factor in this game as we head down the stretch. Last 2 minutes to go as Cloninger loses the handle, and they're going to call a foul on Robbie Anderson.
I was very well expecting a
double dribble.
carry.
Yeah.
He went a full around in a circular motion. And
So that'll put the Chiefs in the bonus now, and that'll send Cloninger to the line to shoot 2. Oh, only 3.
Robbie's 3rd foul, so not in serious foul trouble right now, but still, Naismith with 4 is massive. And if Robbie gets another foul, that's even bigger.
Second free throw is good. First free throw was made as well, so it's a 5-point game now. Full court press for the Chiefs. They back off as Robbie Anderson brings the ball up over the timeline. He'll drive, kicks it out to Nesmith. Nesmith on the near side wing. Stutter step. Driving. He lays it up. No good, but an offensive rebound. Put back. Three put back for Nesmith.
Oh, my goodness.
He just got 3 of his own offensive rebounds.
He got 4 offensive rebounds there.
And finally draws the foul, and he will go to the line to shoot 2. And that's Locklear's fourth.
They have a few people. Bro.
Nesmith's first free throw is good. And he seems to be the best free throw shooter for Carolina Forest.
And it makes sense. He's just the best player overall for this Carolina Forest team.
Second free throw for Nesmith is good. And that'll extend the lead out to 7. Slight full court press, but Chiefs are able to get over the timeline. Passes out, 3 ball, rims out by KJ Stanley. That ball will go out of bounds. They will say it went off of the Chiefs, so Carolina Forest gets the ball back, and barring a miracle, I think this one's all but over.
There's a lot of time left. 7 points, again, is nothing in basketball.
True. Nesmith will bring the ball up over the timeline. Nesmith. And it looks like Carolina Forest, as now Nesmith does drive, lay-in attempt, no good. And they will say it went out of bounds. He did not get touched. And that ball bounced off the back of the backboard.
Yeah.
So just overshot it just a little bit. As now it looks like North Myrtle Beach will call a timeout.
And it's kind of making me mad how much he's yelling for no reason. And
that's just how Ryan Walker.
It's him. It might be him, but as a player, I don't know how much I would want to play for him. Like with our coaches at California, all due respect to North Myrtle Beach and their entire program, but Coach Wall yells, "Oh yeah," because that's every basketball coach.
Yeah.
But especially to the refs, because he knows it can affect the team. Especially to the refs, he's not yelling or in their face or whatever. And if it comes down to it, and there's a call that he doesn't like, and he gets in the ref's face, that's a tech, and you're shooting through this the other way.
Well, I think it's one of those things where there are different coach types, and the refs kind of understand the different coach. Like for example, Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight could do so many things that a more mild coach would never get away with.
Right.
And because it's Bobby Knight and the coach and the refs understand that that's his personality, they'll let him get away with it.
Yeah. It just seems, I don't know. Either way, it's not my decision on whether to tech him up or not.
Yeah.
Either way, now let's talk about the floor. North Myrtle Beach has to go on a run here. You have about 30 seconds to get within one possession. If you're not within a possession, it's going to be interesting.
Oh, a quarterback pass down the field or down the court to KJ Stanley, and he will draw a foul.
And I think the North Myrtle Beach coaches know that was not a foul. That was the assistant coach who coaches JV looked at me and just smiled. That was
So that'll send KJ Stanley to the line.
And now the clock was off too. They kept the clock running.
And they're going to put more time on the clock. Currently it's saying 56.9, but they'll put 1:06 on the clock.
And he went, I keep forgetting his name. The coach for North Myrtle Beach went from 111 to 105 to 106. He was trying to get something out of that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, as a coach, you try to win at whatever cost you can. And these are big free throws here. This can take it from a 3-possession game to a 2-possession game and with no time coming off the clock.
First free throw is good.
And it is now a 2-possession game.
Yep.
But you also need 2 threes to tie it up. So, as we said, North Myrtle Beach's 3-point game has not been very strong. You got to make this one.
KJ Stanley is another one of those two-sport athletes. He's a wide receiver on the football team. Second free throw rolls in off the front iron and in. TJ Stanley will check back into the game. Slight full court press for the Chiefs as they will intentionally foul now.
I don't know that was intentional.
It looked like it to me.
It did, but it didn't, because all coach told him to do was go up and play on him. And that was not – I think it's too early to play the foul game.
Yeah.
Especially
I agree with
especially
that.
only down 2 possessions. Now you just gave them a chance to go back up 3 possessions with only a minute to go.
Robbie Anderson to the line now. First free throw, no good.
Although
so,
if he misses them, it doesn't matter.
Hey, maybe that's a scouting report. Robbie Anderson, not the greatest of free throw shooters.
They all have their games, I guess. The Carolina Force 3 free throw shooting has looked abysmal all across the board except for Jonah, so it kind of is what it is.
Maybe that's the strategy. Second free throw, also no good. Rebounded by the Chiefs, and the gamble worked. And now kick out, 3-ball by Stanley. A little too short. Rebounded by Anderson, and he will get fouled again. So maybe this is the strategy.
And now I would say it's time for the free throws. But you have to score on the other end.
Well, yeah.
Especially if they don't capitalize on this on that end. If they don't capitalize on their free throws, then
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
First free throw, no good again by Anderson. 52.1 seconds left to go in the game as Cam Locklear checks back into the game. Coming in for TJ Stanley. Kind of surprising that Stanley is coming out of the game.
He looks hurt.
The second free throw, also no good. 0 for 4 for Anderson. Passes it out. 3-ball, buckets! 3-ball for KJ Stanley, and just like that, it's a 2-point game.
Ooh, I don't know that you foul there.
And the Chiefs decide to foul.
Ooh. And you said Micah, so as long as
now,
it's not
if it was Anderson, I could understand because he's missed 4 straight.
Right. You got to put that pressure on Robbie there. You have to wait until Robbie gets the ball to foul.
So Micah Nelson now going to the line to shoot 2.
Now he hasn't been perfect at the line either, so this could work in North Myrtle Beach's favor.
And the Chiefs faithful are getting loud. First one
rolls
out. And now, even if this free throw is made, it's still just a 1-possession game. Second free throw. Fans are getting loud here at the reservation. Rolls in, and it's a 3-point game with 39.6 seconds left to go. Timeout, North Myrtle Beach.
And that's huge. Because, and I've said it time and time again, now we just saw a 3 made on this end.
Yeah.
So maybe that kind of just goes away, but that's 2 of what? Like 2 of 15?
Yeah.
I'm not even not even exaggerating.
Oh, no, I know this.
And right now, this is huge.
Yeah.
This is, I'm not going to say the game because there's still a lot of time, especially if Carolina Force continues to miss free throws.
Yeah.
But this is a big possession.
This game, like we thought, is coming right down to the wire. 58-55 with 39.6 seconds left to go in the game.
This is big.
Now, do you try to... Well, I would have to imagine you just try to score quickly if you're the
You
Chiefs.
don't go for a 3 here.
Yeah.
If you're North Myrtle Beach, you don't have to go for the 3 here. That is simply just you run your offense.
Yeah.
You try to get a quick bucket, but you run your offense.
So the Chiefs will take it in from their own baseline. Cam Locklear to trigger the inbound. Slight full court press for Carolina Forest. And now Reed with the ball. He'll get it up over the timeline. He'll drive. He'll go. 3-ball by Stanley. Too short. Rebounded by Carolina Forest. And the perfect man for the Panthers to get fouled as Jonah Nesmith is going to the line to shoot 2.
And I said to run their offense, don't settle for a 3. And he settled for a very contested 3 from the corner. And the corner is hard because you don't have any leeway. Even if you can't get lucky and just hit the backboard and go in.
Exactly. That's why I always like shooting from either the wing or the point. As Jonah Nesmith will go to the line to shoot 2.
He's got to make 1 here.
The first one. He's been good at the free throw line tonight. First one, no good. A little too weak. That's a big break for the Chiefs. Crowd getting loud here. Second free throw rolls in, and it's a 2-possession game with 28.8 seconds left to go. Reed brings it up over the timeline, passes it, 3 ball, too strong, and it's rebounded by the Panthers. Long outlet pass, Nesmith with the ball, passes it, and it goes out of bounds. Chiefs have a chance again now with 13.1 seconds left to go.
Jonah with a boneheaded play. He had the time to just run it out and just did
I was thinking the Chiefs were backing off and just conceding, but that may be the difference.
That's got to be a quick shot.
3 ball. Too strong. Offensive rebound, though. Kick out 3 ball. No good, and that will do it. Time expires, and the Carolina Forest Panthers win this one by 4, 59-55, and tie the series back up at 17. These two teams will face off again next week at Carolina Forest. Next game for the Chiefs is, the next boys game is on Wednesday against Georgetown here at North Myrtle Beach. Next game in general is tomorrow at Carolina Forest. The girls game, you want to come join me for the girls
I'll go
game?
see if I can. It's kind of a configuration with practice and whatnot.
Fair enough.
I will see if I can.
Well, wouldn't you be practicing at the court before the game anyway?
I would. They have they have a mini and a main that they practice on.
Okay.
So it just depends on practice schedules, but I will let you know.
Okay. Well, I may have Preston with me again, but once again, final score 59-55. Chiefs lose a nail biter at the buzzer and go to 0-1. Panthers go up to 2-1 on the season. So that'll just about wrap it up for us here. Once again, final score 59-55. For Preston Payne, I'm Brandon Biskobing saying so long. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow evening for the girls game. Maybe I'll have Preston with me. We'll see about that. Once again,